So, beginning our day, it's good to recollect how to protect our peaceful mind, even any time during the day, whether there's things happening or whether there's things not happening. Movement and stillness, and the mind can remain equanimous through that. It is possible. So, as there might be the impulse or the drive to get things done, but really there's actually nothing happening. So on the level of the mind, there's just nothing happening. What's important is to be able to tell ourselves it's okay. If something doesn't go the way we want it, it's okay. If our work crew leaves without us, it's okay. Just do some walking meditation up the hill. If we have to say Mai Ben Rai in Thai means it doesn't matter. So the most important thing is the state of peace, and so our duty as practitioners is actually to protect our peaceful mind. And if we're not doing that, then we're not doing our duty as practitioners. So it's very important to remind ourselves of that. And we have to kind of talk ourselves into it. It doesn't just happen automatically. Just like when we sit, wisdom just doesn't rise just automatically. Longpa Pasano was speaking about that yesterday. Wisdom or insight doesn't arise just through a number of hours of sitting. Peace doesn't arise just through a specific number of hours of sitting. But we actually have to consider things and not be afraid to use thinking. So we actually do have to talk to ourselves a bit. And the Buddha, I don't know of any place in the suttas where the Buddha says stop thinking. He does say thinking passes away at a certain point naturally. It settles, it goes quiet. The Vaji Sankara in the teachings on second jhana, the chattering mind goes quiet. But the Buddha's talking about that as a very natural process. But how do we nurture and foster that process? And it really, I think with this kind of thing, it depends on just how we conduct ourselves throughout the day. So if we're constantly nurturing that process, whether we're in movement or stillness, then I think it's going to go well. There will be forward progress. But if we get easily upset, or the moment things don't go our way, or we get easily annoyed by things, and then when we meditate, we might just want to blot everything out. We're not really going to want to consider things. So yeah, good to just remember protecting the state of peace, the peaceful mind. One thing we can do too is consciously calm the body. We can do that anytime. We don't have to be sitting in meditation. We can actually, if we're starting to get tense during the work period, or the mind is starting to get a bit agitated, we're doing very physical work, then we can actually stop for a moment, take a deep breath, start again, and be able to focus on what we're doing in more of a peaceful way. And remember this, asking Longpa Liam, how do you stay mindful when you work? Noticing that Longpa Liam does a lot of work at Wat Pah Pong. And then he said, if you think of it as work, you're already suffering. That was his answer. And then I think he also said something like, it's just moving the body. The body's just moving and doing things. But if you think of it as work, you're already suffering. So already in my question, there was already this, it was already just asking that question assumes something that is already going to cause suffering. So it's good to think about. There's the way we do things. It's good to look after the facilities, but also it's even more important to make sure the mind is being protected and being nurtured in a way that ultimately helps the practice. So leave that for reflection this morning.